Buddhism and the concept of self by, let me ask you something a little weird. Have you ever stopped and wondered, who am I really? Not just your name, job, or the roles you play, but who's the I behind your thoughts and feelings? Most of us feel like there's a solid self inside. A little boss who thinks, plans, and decides. But Buddhism has a fascinating idea that this self we hold on to so tightly might not actually exist the way we think it does. So let's explore that together. How we usually see ourselves. From the moment we are kids, we are taught, this is you, your name, your stuff, your story. So we build this idea of me. We feel like a single, solid person who's always there. But Buddhism gently asks, is that really true? The Buddha's discovery, about 2,500 years ago, a prince named Siddhartha lived his royal life searching for answers to suffering. After years of deep practice, he became the Buddha's awakened one. And one of his huge insights was this: there's no permanent, unchanging self inside us. Anatta, no fixed self. Buddhists call this anatta, meaning not self. Instead of a solid core called me, Buddhism says we're made of shifting parts, body sensations, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, consciousness. They're like ingredients in a soup. Together, they create the feeling of I, but there's no single permanent ingredient called self. It's like a rainbow, beautiful and real to our eyes. But if you try to grab it, there's nothing solid there. Why we cling to a self? So why do we feel so sure we have a self? Because it feels safer. Believing I'm someone solid makes us feel in control. We cling to our identity, our opinions, our story. But Buddhism says this clinging is the root of suffering. How self-clinging creates suffering. If you believe there's a fixed you, life becomes scary because everything changes. We get older, people leave, health shifts. Change threatens the self we're trying to protect. And because we're protecting that self, we crave pleasure and run from pain. But life doesn't always go our way. So we end up anxious, sad, or frustrated. A different view of self. Buddhism suggests another way. Instead of I'm a solid thing, see yourself as a flow river, always changing. You're not the same person you were 5 minutes ago or 5 years ago. But there's still a continuity. Like a river has a name even though the water keeps flowing. Practicing no self. So how do we experience this idea? Here's how Buddhism helps. 1. Mindfulness meditation. Sit quietly, watch thoughts and feelings rise and fade. Notice how they're not permanent. No single thinker sits inside your head. Just thoughts happening. 2. Questioning the self. Ask, who's thinking this thought? Usually, silence. No solid answer. Just spaciousness. Na. 3. Observing change. Notice how your sense of you shifts depending on mood, people, or situations. Your self is more like a dance than a statue. Does this mean I don't exist? So, does Buddhism mean you don't exist at all? Nope. Buddhism doesn't say you're a ghost. It just says the idea of a solid, permanent me is an illusion. You still have a personality, relationships, and unique quirks. Buddhism just encourages you not to cling so tightly to those identities. How no self helps. So, why does this matter? Because letting go of a rigid self can bring freedom, less anxiety about what others think, less fear of change, more compassion for others, less obsession over success or failure. It softens life's rough edges. Science agrees. Modern neuroscience can't find a single self-center in the brain. It's just networks firing. Psychologists talk about multiple selves. The you at work, the you at home, the you when you're playful or sad. Buddhism would say they're all temporary patterns. No single unchanging you. A story from the Buddha. The Buddha once told a story. Imagine being shot with a poisoned arrow. Instead of removing it, you demand to know who shot me, what caste they belong to, what kind of bow they used. While waiting for answers, you die. The Buddha said, don't obsess over metaphysical questions. Focus on removing the arrow of suffering. Understanding no self is one way to do that. Living lightly. So, my friend, you're not a fixed thing. You're a beautiful, changing processor dance of body, mind, and heart. When you loosen your grip on me, life feels lighter, freer, more peaceful. And that might be the beginning of real freedom. Thanks for hanging out with me today. May you be peaceful, joyful, and discover the spacious freedom of being so much more than any fixed idea of self.